Hello students, hope you're doing fine at home and all are in good health. So here we are in the class again to learn something new. So we will today learn about a lesson called the understanding diversity from the SST subject. Okay, so we'll first go ahead and understand what actually diversity is. Okay, and slow and steadily we will move on with the chapter. Alright, so we all know that India is a diverse cultural land. Okay, India is a land of diversity, physical as well as cultural. The great physiological diversity coupled with the vast expanse of the country reflects in the physical features, climate, vegetation, soils, minerals, wildlife and human beings, which together form the geographical environment. Okay, so need to understand India is a diverse country in respect to each and everything. Okay, so we have different physical features, we have different climates, we have different types of vegetation, minerals, okay, wildlife and of course human beings. Okay, variation in the geographical environment have influenced the lifestyle of the people in the country who differ ethnically too. So we understand this very clearly from the features that the geographical environment plays an important role in the lifestyle of the people of the country. Alright. In fact, we find diversity in all walks of life, of our social life, including family life, food, dresses, dwellings. Dwelling means the way we live in our house, customs, languages, caste, religion, economic activity, etc. So we can see diversity in various aspects of life. As we already mentioned, if we go down to the southern part of India, the south part of India has altogether a different way of living. Okay, their food is different, their festival people over there that they celebrate are different in comparison to the people who live in the north of India. Their food is different. Okay, so this is called diversity. In spite of several diversities of environment and culture, there prevails an underlying unity which binds the people of the country together. So after having a lot of diversity in our culture, religion, the way we live, languages, what we follow, what we celebrate, yet we are united under one name, and that is called India as a country. A person may be a Punjabi or a Bengali or a Bihari or a Gujarati, but above all he is an Indian. Alright. A brief discussion of diversities in society is given as follows. Now you can see something written on the board. We will discuss point wise. Alright. Now the first point we have is diversity as a fact of human being. Man is a social animal. He lives in the society from birth to death. Okay. Man is a social animal because of his nature as well as necessity. So what do you mean by social animal? Social animal means man is someone who always lives in a society, in a group of the same kind. Alright. He satisfies all his instincts like love, hatred, pity, affection, sympathy, enmity, anger, etc. only in the company of the other men. He lives in society for satisfying his basic needs, protection and self-development. So the reason behind living in a society is where he can get his basic needs like food, clothing, shelter, etc. Alright, and then protection and self-development, of course. It is generally said that the nature has made all men equal, but it is not true. Man exhibits diversity in color, physics, sex and facial features. So no two human beings are the same. Alright, there can be twins, however, twins also have a lot of differences. Their physical appearances slightly might change, alright, their facial color, alright, the physics, etc. Furthermore, he differs in mental abilities too. Alright, mental abilities, the one who uses their brain and the one who does not use their brain. Alright, so the mental capabilities are very different. Now moving to the next point, diversity in family structure. What does that mean? Okay, Family is the smallest unit of society. Man is born in a family. It is in the family that he learns the language, behavioral patterns, and social norms in his childhood. Someone, in some or the other way, okay, family is a universal group. It exists in tribal, rural, and urban communities and among the followers of all religions and culture. So, family is the smallest unit, right? You have a father, you have a mother, and then you have a child. And that child slowly and steadily grows up into a man or a woman, and then he learns many things from his families, especially his language, okay, and then the way he is treated at home, okay. In spite of the universal nature of the family, one can see vast differences in its structure in different societies. In tribal and agrarian society, people of the several generations live together. The societies have a large and joint family. Okay, rural and agrarian means old type of, people who live in the jungles and all, who have in tribes. So they have large families. In the industrial or the urban society, on the other hand, the family is limited to husband, wife, and their children. Such a family is called nuclear family. So nuclear family might have like 3 to 4 people only, that's it, not more than that. Alright? Joint families are generally big in size. Such families include many families and people of many generations. Agrarian economy, traditional social organizations, rural communities and religion have played important role in presenting the joint family system in India. So we have seen, you might have seen, in your villages, when you go in summer vacation, when you visit your, grandfather or grandmother, you can see still they are living in joint families, and you have your cousins over there, right? So this particular type of family structure still exists in India, right? People engaged in cultivation and crafts still experience the family as a unit of production. The farmer cultivates the land and produces food grains with the help of family members. The blacksmith, the goldsmith and the potter produces goods at home with the help of their family. So they say like, it's their family business, or it's their family, occupation that they do. So you might have some of your uncle or aunt living in the villages who still do agricultural activities, right? So they take help of their family members also. Industrialization, urbanization, occupational mobility, wage-based livelihood, modern education and individualistic ideology have been instrumental in diminishing their size, function and their importance in joint family. So now the moment we all have grown up, we all have learned different things, and we want to grow in life, we want to be better persons, and we want to join good occupation or a service, we have chosen to live in cities. Now in cities, during this modernization period, we cannot afford to live in very large joint families, hence we live in small units. Okay. Majority of the couples in cities, okay, and gradually also living in villages are preferring nuclear families to joint families. According to K.M. Kapadia, the tendency toward the small nuclear and family is growing. So people, they don't want to take the the extra effort to live with everyone. They want to live on their own, in their own environment, in their own premises with their small family. The joint family system is still prevalent in rural areas and among tribal communities. As I already told you, the joint family system still exists in your villages, okay, and tribal communities. People engaged in cultivation and crafts still experience the families. Diversity in family structure are also observed on the basis of power and authority and marriage. On the basis of power and authority, families are divided into patriarchal and matriarchal categories. In the first type, father is the head of the family and the familial power and the authority rests in the father. Okay? And then you have the second type of family, which is familial authority lies with the mother and she is the head of the family. So when you hear the word patriarchal, it means father is the head, and with the alphabet M, okay, M for mother, M for matriarchal. So you need to understand where matriarchal comes. mother is the head, okay, and vice versa. Family is also divided on the basis of marriage. In the system of polyandry, a woman has more than one husband, while in polygamy, a man has several wives at the same time. Polyandry is prevalent in Himalayan tribes such as Kinnauri, which is in Himachal Pradesh, and Khas of Jaunsar Babar, Uttarakhand. In monogamous families, one man has only one wife. Okay. Now moving on to the next point, which is diversity in economic activities. Right. So economic activities, we'll see how we can see difference in it. Satisfaction of basic needs of food, clothing, shelter and protection has been the primary objective of all societies since ancient times. Man can fulfill these needs by certain rules and work system. From the point of view of the order of development, economic system may be divided into three types, which are primitive, agrarian and industrial. The primitive economic system was characterized by hunting, food gathering and primitive cultivation of all which are primary activities. So primary activities include, like earlier human beings used to hunt for food, they used to store, and only they used to do a small amount of cultivation, growing very few crops. The tribal communities depended and still depend on the natural environment. Economic activities also depend on weather conditions. The primitive society was self-sufficient in fulfilling their economic needs. The division of labor was based on age and sex. Men generally did the hard job like hunting, plowing, cultivation and fighting, while women looked after children, cooked food, fetched water and so on. So the primitive society, all the hard job was done by man, okay, like hunting, plowing the field, cultivation and fighting, while the women took care of their children, they cooked food and they fetched water from a river or a pond in the primitive society. Primitive communities gradually developed their knowledge of using land and growing plants in place of depending on hunting and food collection. So they understood, okay, if we keep on moving from place to place, this is not possible. Hence they started doing agriculture. Okay. It gave rise to the agrarian economy. All the individuals of the community helped one another in cultivating land, building houses, cutting down the jungles, rearing of animals, etc. So that primitive society, they thought of an idea and they started helping each other. That gave rise to the agrarian economy. The plough was developed with the advent of agriculture. Man learned to make use of animal labor. Production exceeded consumption and it gave rise to barter trade. Barter trade means the exchange of two commodities or between two groups. Earlier there was no money, so people used to trade things, like one would give amount of wheat or rice to someone who would give him some sort of meat, fish, etc. So they used to exchange. Division of the labor was also introduced. There was no need for all people to be engaged in agriculture. Some of them could be spared for other jobs. Alright? Everyone doing agriculture was not possible, so they thought only a few would do agriculture, the others would be given some other job. While some were engaged in agriculture, others were engaged in making of tools for agriculture, utensils for domestic purpose, furniture, weaving of clothes, selling of goods, handicrafts, etc. So some people started building tools which were helpful for doing agriculture. Some started making utensils for domestic purposes, for household purposes. Okay, some made clothes, some made furniture, etc. Not everyone did agriculture. All right. The activities are called secondary activities. Still others began to do manual jobs and other services. Growth in agriculture, handicrafts, profit in commerce from surplus production paved the way for industrial revolution in Europe. So growth in agriculture gave a chance for the development of a society. So that was also called as the industrial revolution in Europe. The use of mechanical power was the basis of industrial revolution. The Industrial Revolution created the modern industrial economy. This system is characterized by large production, big organization, highly developed technology, and tertiary occupations. The industrial system of production emphasizes role on specialization of activities. In this system, the division of labor is based on merit, skill, training, education, and the individual's aptitude. Industrialization, education, training, and skills have gradually changed occupation into profession. These professions include the roles of doctor, lawyer, engineer, nurse, teachers, and so on. Slow and steadily what happened, people moved on from agriculture also, right? Some of them are still doing it, some of them have chosen to become doctors, lawyers, engineers. How was this possible? This was possible by education, and again there was an industrial revolution as well. Now we move to the next point, which is diversity in languages, right? You should have seen, like, there are people who speak Gujarati, who speak Marathi, who speak Punjabi in your classes, right? So this is called diversity in languages because we come from different regions of India. Although Hindi is the official language of the country, India is believed to have 1652 mother tongues, of which 33 are spoken by people numbering over a lakh. So more than 1 lakh people still speak 33 different languages. The officially recognized languages are 22. So India has officially recognized 22 languages. These include Assami, Bengali, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, Kashmiri, Malayalam, Marathi, Odia, Punjabi, Sanskrit, Tamil, Telugu, Urdu, Sindhi, Konkani, Manipuri, Nepali, Bodo, Maithili, Deogiri, and Santhali. The last 4 languages were added by constitutional amendments in 2003. Okay, so these are the identified languages by the government of India, as they are also official. It is interesting to note that most of these languages form the basis of democracy of the states in the country, which means most of the people belonging to that particular region speak that particular language. So if you go in Gujarat, you will find people speaking Gujarati. For people living in Maharashtra, people normally speak Marathi. Alright. Now we move on from the diversity in languages to the next point, which is diversity in caste, religion and class. What are these things? The 3 points written over there: caste, class, religion. So now we'll see what is caste, what is diversity about it. Caste systems in the basis of the Hindu social organization. According to French sociologist Louis Dumont, the caste system is based on the notion of purity and pollution. Those who are at the top of pollution purity hierarchy are given the highest place, and those who are at the bottom of this pyramid are at the lowest. In the beginning, the Hindu society was divided into 4 varnas. Remember, in India, the Hindu society has its own social organization wherein people are classified into 4 different categories or varnas. Varnas means categories. Okay. So the first is Brahmin, second is Kshatriya, third is Vaishya, and fourth is Shudra. Literally, Varna means color. Okay. Later, Varna and caste became synonymous. It is interesting to know that castes are also associated with occupational distinction. Various castes are named after their trades such as blacksmithy, pottery, goldsmithy, carpentry, etc. Under the caste system, individual status is determined by birth. Whosoever is born in whatever family, that particular thing is again determined by which family is born, his caste. Okay. Class. Class is based on economic criterion. It is a factual structure without any religious or legal sanctions. Class status is determined by property, achievement, and capacity of an individual. According to Botmore, there are 4 classes: upper class, middle class, working class, and peasantry. So class has got nothing to do with religion and all. It is based on the economic principle, economic criteria. So if a person has a lot of property, a lot of things, a lot of cars, a lot of houses, a lot of land, his achievement and his capacity of individual will be taken into consideration in the upper class. Upper class means people who have lots of money, lots of property, lots of achievement, etc. Okay? And so on. The middle class, they have a little less, and then the working class, they still have less, and the peasantry is normally the farmer class. Now moving to the third point, which is religion. Religion has been defined by Durkheim as the unified system of beliefs and practices related to sacred things. Okay? It is a set of sacred things, sacred rituals a person follows. Okay? There are a number of religions in modern times. Prominent among them are Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Jainism, Zoroastrianism, and Confucianism, and Judaism. In India, there exists a diversity of religion. Along with religion, there are several sects within the religion. Okay, so if you have a religion, again you have certain bifurcation in that religion again. Okay, thus Hindu religion has 6 systems of thought. Okay, which is Shaiva, Vaishnava, Shakta, etc. In the 19th century, various sects came into existence which provided institutional base to Hinduism. Arya Samaj and Ramakrishna Mission are important among them. Christianity also has many sects: Methodists, Baptist, and Anglican sects. There are 2 diversions within Christianity: the Catholic and the Protestants. The Shia and the Sunni are 2 important sects within Islam. Jainism is divided into Digambar and Shwetambar sects. Buddhism has 2 prominent sects, that is Mahayana and the Hinayana. So you have seen that every religion or the other has further bifurcation under it. Okay? The mode of prayer in each religion is quite different from each other. The Hindus worship their god and goddess and offer their prayers to them by chanting devotional songs, also called as bhajans, in a temple. A Muslim offers namaz in a mosque, a Christian goes to the church to offer prayer, while a Sikh sings hymns of Guru Granth Sahib in a Gurudwara, and a Jew visits a synagogue. However, their objective is the same: offering prayers to God. So we all believe that we have only one God, but we follow different channels to offer prayers. Alright? India is a secular state. All religions are respected equally. All people are free to profess, practice, and preach their religion. So India is a diverse land, but still yet we have the freedom to follow any religion. Okay? Now moving ahead with the lesson, we will now see the need for diversity and university in diversity. So we need to understand, why do we need a diverse culture? Why is there a requirement? Why is there a need for it? Okay? Diversity exists in nature as well as among human beings. No 2 humans are the same. Individuals have different interests, tastes, and skills. Some enjoy reading while others do painting. So we have different people who have different hobbies. So if one has a hobby to read, okay, the other might have things to paint. Alright. Some are interested in sports while others like music and dancing. Moreover, different people are proficient in different skills. So a person can go and follow his hobby, whatever he likes. There are doctors, engineers, lawyers, teachers, technicians, masons, carpenters, etc. And each of them is endowed with or has acquired a particular skill. Right? So if you want to become a lawyer, if you want to become a teacher, if you want to become a doctor, you will have to do that particular course. You will have to do that particular set of skills to get that. Alright? These diverse skills are essential for a community in life, because an individual cannot satisfy all his needs by himself. He needs the cooperation of different people who render different services to him. For example, if a person is a doctor and he is living in a society, so he cannot be a teacher, he cannot be a lawyer, he cannot be an engineer, right? at the same time. If he is a doctor, he might need help from the other people who are engaged or who are following different professions, right? For example, farmer grows crops and food grains. Manufacturers make clothes, shoes, medicine, etc. Masons build houses, carpenters make furniture, etc. Craftsmen make utensils, tailors stitch clothes. Several specialized and skilled persons do their respective job. Teachers, doctors, engineers, administrators, etc. render specialized service to the society for the sake of providing comforts and convenience to people. Thus, in a society we find that individuals are interdependent. Interdependent means we are dependent on each other in a society. And why do we do this? We do this because we can give them service and comfort. Alright? Now, moving to the next point, which is unity in diversity. Very important point, and which lays the foundation of our country. Right? We have a lot of diversity. Still, we are united under one name, which is India. Alright? It should be remembered that diversities do not divide or weaken us, instead they enhance our strength. This fact may be explained by the example of India as a country. As explained earlier, India exhibits diversities in several spheres. To quote R.K. Mukherjee, in spite of all the diversities in different fields, physical, social, linguistic, cultural and religious, there is a fundamental unity of India underlying this diversity. Now, what kind of diversity are there? There are 4 points written. We will discuss them and understand what they mean. So, geographical unity. India is a distinct geographical unit. The Indian subcontinent has remained isolated from the rest of the world due to its natural boundaries. So, if we talk to the northern side of India, we have got the Himalayas standing on the borders and protecting us from the outsiders. Okay. Political unity. The process of political integration was initiated during the Mauryan period, 3rd century BC, when Emperor Ashoka established a vast empire in India. Hence, after the Guptas made other attempt at unification in the 4th century. During the Middle Ages, the Turks and the Mughals occupied India. Mughal Emperor Akbar and later the British ruler attempted to unite the country under their umbrella. After independence, the erstwhile British provinces and the princely states were integrated into the independent India. With the liberation of the French colonies and the Portuguese colonies, the political integration of India became complete. So we had many foreign people living here apart from the Britishers. They were Portuguese, they were French people, and once they left India is when the political integration took place and India became one as a country. Cultural unity. The physical diversity is reflected in the diversity of cultural features. For example, the food, clothing, house types, languages, customs, fairs and festivals, occupation, etc. The fact that there are nearly 5,000 ethnic groups in India adds to the variety of cultural landscape of the country. So there are many people with diverse culture, they are still living over here. Fairs are organized in different parts of the country in which all the people, irrespective of their caste and creed, participate. Marriage is a universal institution of all societies. People belonging to different communities perform marriage rites with great pomp and show. Similarly, after death, rites are performed in every community according to their religious traditions. So if there is a happy time and someone is getting married, you all know how you dress up and how you enjoy the food, right? And if someone is dead, we also know that every religion has its own rituals which are performed and then they are finally sent off, right? Besides these diversities, they may be seen in literature and literature of religion, literature regarding region, language, music, dances, forms of art, folklores, mores, etc. So there are many different things, apart from the regional languages. We can see that many people from coming from different parts of India, they still follow their own customs. Fourth, religious unity. India is a secular state. Multiplicity of religious faith is an important aspect of the Indian population. The Indians follow various forms of worship, example, animism, mysticism, monism, dualism, pluralism, and even atheism, giving away to various religious communities, example, Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, Jews, and Parsis. The cultural landscape is dotted by various places of worship like temples, mosques, churches, gurudwaras, viharas, stupas, and synagogues, etc. All religions have common ideas and goals. All religions teach universal brotherhood and moral life. Pilgrimage is an important aspect of all religions. According to Srinivas, the unity of India is essential in a religious one. People may worship different deities, but the religious scripture knit the various heterogeneous groups together into one religious society. All people practicing different religions may visit different places of pilgrimage, but all have a common goal of earning religious merit by visiting a sacred place. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, rightly stated in his book, The Discovery of India, that the Indian unity is not something imposed from the outside, but rather it was something deeper, and within its fold, the widest tolerance of belief and customs was practiced, and every variety acknowledged and even encouraged. Pandit Nehru was the first to coin the phrase unity in diversity to describe our country. Our national anthem describes this unity very well. I hope you understood this lesson. Have a nice time. Take care.